Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Metamorphosis with Toby. And thank you for listening and or watching, depending on whatever platform you're watching or joining us from. Thank you for coming back. And this is our very first episode of the year 2024. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, very quickly, what sets successful people apart is not that they do not experience setbacks or failures or do not have their own trying moments, but how they handle their emotions, how they handle the situation or the circumstance during this tough season or tough times. And so today I have a guest with me. She's not a first timer, she's a returning guest. So she will be talking or walking us through bouncing back from setback. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Okay. Welcome back to Metamorphosis with Toby. If you're just joining us, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, kindly do so. Click the subscribe button, like, share, ask questions, drop your comments. We would really love to hear from you. And so, like I said earlier, we have a guest today, and our guest today is a returning guest, and she is an inspirational writer. She's a speaker. She's a budding self-development coach. She is a project manager by profession, and she speaks a whole lot about her faith journey and experiences. And so today with me, I have Joyce Olaomi. Thank you so much for coming, Joyce.
Hi, Toby. Thank you for having me on this platform. And thanks to everyone for tuning in, joining and watching this video. So glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being a returning guest. Thank you for always. And so very quickly today, like I mentioned earlier, we want to talk about, so Joyce will walk us through bouncing back from setbacks. We all know that, or it is true to an extent, that for each and every one of us, at some point or the other in our lives, we have experienced setbacks, rejections, trying times, failures. Sometimes it would seem like it's like the whole world is just against you. It's like life is against you when you do one or two things, and it's just like you are going back several steps. So today we would like to start with Joyce. So I guess my first question would be for you to share with us if you have any personal or professional setback you have experienced and how you did manage to bounce back, if I can say so myself.
Okay, thank you very much, Toby. Have I experienced setbacks? Any kind of setback? Yes is the answer. Everyone experiences setback, just like you have mentioned earlier. I would mention maybe two experiences. I'll go far back into the past. I'll bring an experience and I'll come into the future and something most recent and speak about it. I remember when I was in GSS 3, so I attended a boarding school in Akure, and I used to live in Lagos then. Going from Lagos to Akure, I was involved, the bus I entered was involved in a fatal accident, and I almost lost my life. In fact, that's a testimony in itself. And so I was to go for GSS 3 extension that would lead to writing junior WAEC and all. So I couldn't write the WAEC. When my classmates were preparing for the exam, I was in the hospital and I lost that period. Of course, I couldn't. When you don't write an exam, you have to rewrite the exam. So long and short, I wanted to go back to the school I did. And I was told, you have to repeat the class. And it's like, yes, you have to repeat GS3. There was no way out of it. It's not a private school. I attended a federal school, Unity school. And I took it upon myself that, yes, I'm going to repeat the class. And for me, I would say that was a setback. I don't know how I felt or what I knew then. But I was just like, okay, it's not a big deal. I remember one very clear experience. So there is this separation. GSS students, you eat in a particular hall. When you're in senior secondary school, you eat in another hall. Your uniforms are different.
Different.
So I had to go back to where I was before, something that was not even my fault. And I think that was what made me cry at that period. Like, this thing is not my fault, but I chose to come back. I had other options of maybe going to other schools, but I said I wanted to go
That's
back to the
schools.
school.
I was
I
going
don't
to
know.
ask that.
Yes, I just liked the school, and I wanted to go back. And yes, I went through the school. When my mates were graduating in SS3, I was in SS2. I cried, but I don't know, for some reasons, I just felt life moves on. And I would say that that's a setback I experienced that time. But looking back now, I can't even really recall, like, so I repeated the class not out of my fault or something. So that's one. The other one is, so I currently live in the UK, and when it comes to looking for a professional job in UK, it is not beans. Attending
It's a lot.
interviews, it's a lot. And
Yeah.
so I'd put in applications, I'd gotten this interview invites in a very big organization, and I was hopeful. I'd done all the get your mentoring, do all your revisions, do all your checks and all. So I came to that call. We had the interview, and I was told, we'll get back to you after X and X days. And so I was excited because the interviewers were really pleased with my responses. They were glad.
Oh,
I
yes,
already
wicked.
felt like I had the job.
Yes.
And the day I was told I was going to get a feedback, for some funny reasons, I think I got a call from someone saying, we're sorry, something came up. We cannot really explain to you right now, but what it means is we're not going to give you a feedback today. And my mind started doing gish gish. What are they going to say? So long and short of it is, after some time, I was called later and I was told, see, Joyce, it's not like you didn't pass this interview. In fact, we're already seeing you as part of our team because you're bringing a lot of experience and we like your energy and all. But the funding for the project or the funding for the role has been withdrawn. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Do you guys understand what it even takes to submit a CV in this kind of competitive environment? What it takes to even come to get to an interview? And it's not like I didn't pass. It's not like I didn't do well. But didn't you know that funding would be withdrawn? Didn't you know that you didn't have funding? So why would you bring me to this point and then you just take it back? So I would say that those are two setbacks that I've experienced and are taking me back. I would say a setback as something that takes you back when you feel you should be moving forward. It just puts you at a spot where it brings various things to you. It puts you at a spot where you feel like, oh, I should have gone 10 years, 5 years, 5 months ahead, but it just keeps you at a spot. And so I would say that those are two experiences that clearly stand out for me.
Thank you so much for sharing those experiences, looking back now, when you talked about when you were in secondary school, I don't know how I would have felt, but I just would think, because I know during those times at some point I was thinking, what if I fail? What if it's like, for me, it's like you can't even go home. That's for me, But yeah, that's like a whole lot of setback, looking at people around you going forward, particularly that one that is more of really pronounced, where you cannot eat where your other classmates or friends are eating because you had a setback that wasn't even your fault. Yeah, and also when you talked about getting jobs, yes, there's been situations even for me when the interview asked maybe for job, for school, everything, it would all seem perfect, you're the best person for this role, we're gonna get you. Then all of a sudden, just say, yeah, we're sorry, there's no funding has been cut. It's not that you're not, it's just a whole lot of setback, and you now have to think and just go on. Thank you so much for sharing that. So I guess my next question would then be, how do setbacks contribute to your personal, or to one's personal or professional growth? So when I say contribute, maybe I should have said influence or affect. Yes.
Okay, thank you. So if I got your question correctly, how does setback affect your growth professionally and in other areas? So the first thing I would say is that first of all, setback happens to us to help us understand and appreciate things better. That's the first thing I would say. So on the surface, or when you are going through that experience, it will look like, God, why am I having this kind of experience? But if you look deeply, there's something that experience is out to teach you. And one key thing it helps you to appreciate the more is the goodness of God, or how far you have come. when you look at that thing, like, so I went through this and I came out. Oh God, then it's something you'll be grateful for. So when you have that, when you now eventually move forward, you have that victory or that experience or that promise or that thing you've been looking up to God for, that thing you're looking forward to getting, you would hold that thing as priceless. You would know that it could have only been God that brought you this far. So it helps you to appreciate things better. Sometimes when we get some things, I'm not saying getting things on a platter of gold is not our portion. No, of course, God wants us to have good things in life, but setbacks makes us to appreciate things better. Another thing is that it helps us appreciate things better. Yes. Another thing setback does to us is it helps us to develop inner strength that we really didn't know we had. I'm telling you. So I came to just a bit of a backstory. I came to UK 2 years ago. I came as a digital project manager. I was like, I came with all the everything is possible. I can get what I want. But when you come into a new environment, you need to learn the system. You need to pay your dues. You need to do certain things differently. And then I started looking for a job. I'm like, oh more, it's not beans. So I came to that point where I was like, I need to develop new things. These things need to, I need to, when I started getting rejection here, rejection there, rejection here, rejection there, started knowing that I need to look deep within. I need to see what I need, the skills that I need to bring out. Is it resilience I need to bring out? I might have been saying, oh, I'm a resilient person in a particular environment that maybe I've not experienced so much of difficulties in that sense, but this is new. So what are the things that I can do? Do I have the staying power? Do I have resilience? Do I have inner strength? There are days that I would cry and I will come back again and keep applying for jobs. I think that's like the most recent for me until I got what I wanted. So I would say it helps us to appreciate things. It also helps us to develop inner strength and capabilities. And maybe lastly, I would say it helps us to appreciate and accommodate other people more. Right now, if anyone tells me that I've been doing this, I've been trying to get a job and it's been difficult, I would not look at the person like you're not smart if you're doing the right things. Of course, I'll look at it that maybe things have not just happened for you, so I can empathize with you better. From a place of I have gone through what you're going through.
I know this, yes. Then
I know
I've
better.
More empathy. Yes. Thank you so much, Joyce. So 3 things you mentioned. Setback helps us to appreciate things better. It helps us to build our inner strength. And it also helps us to maybe become more empathetic to other people when we meet them or get to know people who are going through similar things that we or one has gone through. Thank you so much for that. So when you talked about inner strength, I guess my next question would be on resilience. So at some point I'd done some stuff. I used to do work on resilience. I really loved the resilience study as an area and all. So, and I was glad you mentioned that inner strength. And basically we say resilience is bouncing back from adversity, bouncing back from whatever form of bad experiences or situations. So my question is, if you do have any other form of definition for resilience, you can. If not, you could just tell us how you think resilience is important how important is resilience in the process of bouncing back from setbacks. How important is resilience?
Thank you for that question. So I would say, resilience, inner strength, and I'll use this. So you won't find this word in the dictionary.
Okay.
So I would call it, I think I learned it from a woman that I used to follow, a very wonderful woman, amazing woman, doing great things, DDK, just to mention. She calls it bounce back ability. So bounce back ability, your ability to bounce back after maybe a setback or a failure experience. Now, resilience is important because it helps you. That's your staying power. That's what will keep you moving. That's what you need. To keep moving. I remember when. I'm talking so much about job experience because maybe that's like the most recent kind of setback that I've experienced. So someone, a church member, a professional, highly accomplished professional told me something when it felt like I was getting tired. Like, Umi, you can't stop now. You've not gotten what you want now. So why would you stop? You can't stop now until you get what you want. So I would say resilience is important to get what you want. It's important to push for what you want. So it helps you push for what you want, and it also helps you get what you want. I was saying to my younger sister recently, I was like, it is those that push for something that get something. You cannot be sitting down folding your hands and thinking something would happen. Yes, you've experienced a setback, and I think that's one thing I should just establish. We all experience setbacks. If I ask you,
Yes.
what you have your own experience.
A
If I
whole
speak
lot.
of mine, I have many more.
A whole
Maybe we
lot.
just spoke about two, but I have many. Like everyone has that catalog of setback, but our ability to push through because we believe in a better future, because we want something better, because we know it is possible. I look around and I think one of the things that helps me to develop resilience is that I see the kind of life that I want. I see people that are achieving things. I see Black achieving great things, even in diaspora, and I'm like, I can do it. I could have started doing menial jobs, but I don't need to remain there. There are people who have come and who have overcome. There are people who have developed that inner strength. Did they have it easy? Was it all rosy? No. But there was something that kept them moving. So what is that thing that will keep you moving? That's your resilience. That's your inner strength. And it won't just jump on the sky. It won't come on you just like that. It won't come on you when I lie down on my bed and I'll say, resilience, come upon me. So like, no, that's not. It doesn't work that way. It is in the process. It's in the process that you would cry maybe the previous night. You would wipe your face again. You go to bed. You would get up in the morning and say, I'm going to do this.
Restart again.
I'm going to restart again. But mind you, when you're restarting again, when you experience a setback, maybe this, I don't know if I'm jumping questions or something, you need to know that it requires a new you. It doesn't, resilience and getting things it doesn't need a former you. Now, what I mean by former you is, it doesn't need that maybe beating you or a you that has a particular fixed mindset or strategy. It might require that you need to be flexible to try things differently. That's what resilience is. So you cannot continue doing, like a preacher that I listen to, so you cannot continue to do things the same way and expect to get a better result or a different outcome. A different outcome. No, you need to try new things. You need to try new strategies. Is my CV okay? The way I'm applying, am I doing it well? The way I respond to questions, am I responding the way they want to respond to? The way I'm speaking to people, people are not approaching me to talk to me or to try to be friends with me. Am I friendly? Are there things I need to change? Those are things you begin to look at, and then it's not like you're pushing like a blind man. You're not pushing like a blind person. You are at each point in time, you're analyzing where you're analyzing yourself, and you're saying, what can I do better? Because this is what I see that this is possible, but what do I need to do to get or to achieve that possibility? So I think I'll just leave it there. And
so when you talked about starting over the next day, pushing forward, bouncing back, and all of that, I am reminded of a recent experience where I submitted an application for something and it got rejected. And it got rejected not necessarily because I didn't do everything that was right, but after I got rejected, I received feedback, and I was glad to an extent I got rejected, because the next time I was going to submit, I had more things to say. I had a new strategy. I had something better to add up. So I do relate, or my experience resonates well with what you have just explained. Is that it's not that because it was rejected now I want to go again, and I'm going again just the way it was rejected, like same way. But now it's like I have to have new strategies. I have to do new things. So thank you for talking about those. So the next question I want to talk about, based off of the resilience, will be what traits or strategies do you think that people who successfully overcome setbacks or bounce back from setbacks or failures and all often possess? I think that we have said some of them from what
Yes.
we have said. Yes, but I just would like us to point them out again.
Okay, thank you for that. I would say the first trait is believe. So the first one is believe. Believe can be, I'll break it down into two. The first one is believe in yourself. Self-belief in that sense. A lot of times things will tell you no. It's common. So I think you start getting ready to just get yourself prepared to know to receiving no's in your life, because it will come. Things will tell you no. People will tell you that you're not good enough. Situations will tell you you're not smart enough. But you must have that self-belief in yourself to say, I am smart. I can get this. I can do this. You must develop that inner strength. So inner strength is not just the strength to keep moving, but you must equip yourself and be strengthened from within to say, I can do this even on my weekdays. And the other part of belief is there is a future that must be ahead of you at all time. You can call it a goal. There must be a goal that you are aiming at. There must be something you are seeing. If you're not seeing anything, then you might not really see or have the need to push for something else. So you must believe in yourself, and you must believe in a future. And no one can sell a future to you that you've not bought into yourself. You cannot you cannot participate in a future that you've not taken hold of or you've not believed in. The other one I would say is tenacity. You need to be tenacious. I think all these things just tie together. You need to the traits that these people have is they are tenacious. They move, they keep moving regardless of what they experience, the opposition that they face. So one needs to be tenacious. And then I would say flexible. You need to be flexible. Flexibility in that, like we mentioned earlier, change your strategies, change your methods. Don't be fixated on only one thing. You've been pursuing this particular thing this way. What are the new ways or new methods you need to use to get your desired results? Are your methods working? Can you tweak your method a bit? Be flexible, don't be fixated on a particular thing. And I'll call the last one discipline. So you've accumulated all these three things. Now it's time to do the work. Have the self-discipline to do the work. Doing the work is, sometimes you ask people, you're looking for a job, for example, in the UK. So how many CVs have you sent out? Some will like, I sent one today, I sent one yesterday. Really? If people are sending just one, yes, you can send one CV and get an interview and get the job. But do quality things. Put in the hard work. Don't do shabby work. Don't expect to get a big breakthrough when you don't do work. No, be disciplined enough to say, I'm going to stand up, I'm going to get up, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to stand up, because I know I need to move from point A to point B. There are things in between that I need to do between point A and point B. So I will get up and do the work. If you want to if you want to study abroad, what are the things you need to do? You need to get your transcript at least. You need to get your statement of purpose ready. Are you getting those things ready? Or you are feeling that, miracle. Yes, miracle happens. But you need to do the work. God works. The Bible tells us in James that show me a man with faith without works, and I will show you my faith with works. So faith without works is dead. That's what the Bible tells us. If you have faith, you believe in something, you must be putting in the work because you believe you want to get something. And just 1,000 times 0 is equal to 0 any day, anytime. But 1,000 times 1 effort, you know what it is.
A bit of an increase, and that's not even a bit of an increase. That's like a lot of an increase too.
Yes.
So just to reiterate what you said, strategies trait is first, be ready to accept no. We're not saying be pessimistic about things. Just know that, because I think for sometimes when I do things, I'm like, okay, what if it goes south? What if it doesn't work out? So just know that no's will come in life.
Yes.
No's will come. Also, you did say that always have a future. Always have a future that you are looking up to. And the future could be your goals. It could be, the end of this year, this is what I want to achieve. So always have something you are looking up to. Then you did say be tenacious, be flexible. I like that you touched on being flexible. And by being flexible, you did say that not be art ardent on something. Just know that things can change. You can change your strategy about doing things. And you did touch on discipline. Be self-disciplined. Be ready to do the work. Sometimes it's like, maybe you may be tired. It's just that discipline does not mean you cannot be tired. You get
Yes.
after, yeah, if I get you correctly, but just
Yes.
always putting in the works in all that you do, whatever you find yourself. So that's what some of the things Joyce has said to us today, and I do hope that even as we go on, we would we'll remember these things and put them to work in our daily lives. So Joyce, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
You did talk about this. So we know that as individuals, we are not highlands. We are not. We live in a community. We live amidst people. Sometimes we need a push to do something. Sometimes it's like I want to get this done, but I just need help from maybe my friend or maybe my church community or my classmates. So my next question would be how important or what are the roles of support systems in when it comes to uh, coming back or bouncing back from setbacks? What are the roles or how important as well is having a support system?
Thank you for that. Thank you for the question, rather. So I would say having support system is very important. Like you said, no man is, and you should not live your life alone. You're not know it all, do it all, be it all at all times. No, we have our weak
At all.
moments. No, we're not all
Yes.
that. Even the strongest of us are not. So I would say having support system is very important. Now, people you can talk to. This is very, very crucial. In a place like maybe if you're in diaspora or you're not, if you're in diaspora, you might be saying, everyone, they just lock their doors. There's nobody to talk to. The kind of relationship you've been building over, the kind of you should belong to a community. Yeah, that's the word. Belong to a part of a kind of community. It could be your school, it could be in church, and within that community, there are one or two people that you can talk to when you're having downtimes. Tell them, this is what I feel, this is what I'm experiencing, and you just unburden. Sometimes it's not like you want them to do anything super for you, but you need that encouraging word, you need that comforting word, you need that oh, you can do it again, I believe in you, this is not the end of you. An example of myself is I remember one time I experienced it was going to be a setback in that sense, and I just called a friend of mine. I was like, see, come, let's just sit down in the park, not the parks, but just sit somewhere outside. Let me just relieve, let me just release everything I'm experiencing. Let me just let it out. Because right now I have done all I think I know how to do, and still I there is no breakthrough in this. So that kind of support system. I have friends you can talk to, I have mentors you can confide in. I have a mentor that if things are like this, I would just send him a chat and say, this is what is happening. Don't do life alone. No, we are here for each other. Like me and you, we are here for each other. And do not say that there are no people around me. You can develop very good friendships online. I've met people and I've interacted with people that I have not seen physically ever, and we've developed good friendship. So be a friend so that on your weekdays you also have someone to lean on. And then family, any day, anytime. Family is like a great support system. So lean on your family. Don't say, oh, they can't understand what I'm going through. That's your dad. Yeah.
Sometimes
That your dad, that your mom, that
that.
one word they will say to you will really help you. Not like you are bringing all your burdens to them as an adult or something, but there's something they will say that will help you in that situation. Be open to people. Don't allow things kill you. Like I realize that a lot of times what people do is they try to like, let me figure it out on my own. You can do that. You will get on your bed and you feel downcast, and the devil will keep bringing feelings of it's like heaping things on you, and you'll be burdened.
Yeah,
You'll be lying on your bed. You'll be worried.
overwhelmed.
And you become overwhelmed. That's the word. And gradually, one can get into that place of depression. But if you have someone to let it out to, today you let this out, tomorrow you let this out, you are lightening yourself. You're making light the burden, and you really cannot tell the kind of strategies and insights you'll be getting from people. Do you get?
That's true.
So I feel like support system is so important. Don't do life alone. You're not know it or do it or be it all and be it all at all times. No, you're not that. No, we are here for each other. If it was supposed to be only you on earth, maybe it's only you God would have sent on this earth, but because he knows we need each other, so he brought all of us here together. You do get. So I think that's what I'll say.
Yes. So I would say for me, for instance, one of the things you talked about. Sometimes some things happen to me, and I just want to say it to somebody. It's like there's power in just letting it out, even
Yes.
if the person isn't going to get me the solution or you get. But I just want someone to listen to what I have to say because it's like
Yes.
burdened, and I just want to scream it out. Yeah. So, like you said, we can't do life alone. We need to build community. We need to build friendships. And when we say friendships, I know, I understand. We need good friendships, and that's a lot.
Yes.
That's like a different topic entirely. We're not
Really
just talking about
different.
friends. Yeah, we're not just talking about friends who want to just hear you, be burdened, be listening, be a listener, but friends who genuinely are friends. You get. So
Yes.
yes, I know that's a different topic entirely on friendship, the dynamics of friendship. I look forward to that episode. So
Mm.
thank you for all of this. So from
You're
all
welcome.
of what we have been saying, we know that setbacks can trigger fear. Setback can particularly trigger setback. Oh, sorry, self-doubt. Self-doubt. It
Yes.
can trigger self-doubt. How can we address and overcome this? I know all of this still tie back to most of the things we have said. I
Yes.
just like us to expatiate a bit. Yeah. So
Okay.
can how can how can we address overcoming self-doubt, these emotions of fear and self-doubt and that comes from setbacks?
Okay. Thank you very much. I feel like setbacks, they have children that they have when they come. So the main thing is not just the setback or that thing you don't experience, but what it will do
Mm.
to you psychologically, mentally is like a fruit, a child, or an
Yeah,
output
the
from it.
branches.
The
It
branches.
has
Thank you for that.
it
So
doesn't work alone.
fear is a branch of setback.
Mm.
Doubt is a branch of setback. So when you have this, you just know that okay, number one, things happen. You could be afraid. There are times I've been afraid, there are times I've doubted myself. But what do I do when I experience fear? We've talked about speaking to people and support system. Another thing
Yes,
is I speak to God about it. I am
important.
a I see God as my father, my friend, and someone I can talk to about the way I'm feeling for time. So I speak to
Mm.
God about that fear I'm experiencing. And in a way, it talks back to me. It tells me in His word, it reassures me that it's going to be all right. So that's one, speaking to God. Another thing is getting into a zone of possibilities, surrounding yourself with, yes, possibilities. That's the word. You could have fear. We all have fears, but when you're surrounded or you begin to see things that other people are doing, you get into that possibility zone. You will know that it is possible. You would know that this thing can be done. So even if you feel afraid at that point in time, you see others doing it, like, oh, I should be able to do this. So it's usually a process. It's not like something that will come on you just today or tomorrow after a setback. No,
Mm.
you need to play in that space of possibilities. Sometimes don't there are some things and experience or people you need to just get cut out from, not like cutting people away from your life in that sense, but because of what you know or what you're experiencing, you need to place yourself in a zone of people who believe in you, people who appreciate, and people who can tell you the truth, people who are interested in helping you move forward, and people who are also
Mm.
doing things with their life.
All
Not
of
people
those
who are
with empathy.
yes,
Mm.
not people who are down and they don't want to live where they are. I remember in this same UK, I was in a job that my line manager would constantly make me feel less of who I was. And
Mm.
it was so difficult until I got another line manager. And I started seeing possibilities, I started seeing who I was. That point in time, it was like I was doubting my abilities, but getting into a new environment, I'm like, so I am smart, so I can contribute.
Mm-hmm.
So being in an environment can also influence
Nice.
what you believe. And I think lastly, I would say is fear happens to all of us. Yeah, everyone else, we feel afraid at one point in time or the other. But what you need to do is you need to keep moving regardless of the fear. If everyone would say, even the Bible tells us that, now I'm paraphrasing, the farmer that will say, oh, it will rain tomorrow, and doesn't plant, in harvest, you will just not have anything. So if you are afraid of something will happen, if you keep constantly being in a place where you're afraid and you do nothing, then you will get nothing. But if regardless of that fear, sometimes you just push, you're like, try, Kini, let me even try it. What if, why not? Like, I read an article years back, I'm like, what if, why not? So you might constantly be in a place where you're like, what if I fail? Then you're like, why don't I try it? What if I fail? So what? Then why don't I try something? That thing you are afraid of, sometimes or most times usually not happen. But what fear, which is an offshoot or a branch from setback, is that it wants to keep you down. But you would push and you would move because you have a future that you want to get. You have something you are aiming at. So you will get up regardless of the fear and you take a step. The steps might be tiny, they might be little steps, but you are moving and you are developing resilience in the process. You're developing inner strength in the process. You're developing self, you are developing you are being determined every day to do something. Determination is coming from within you. So you really don't know what you do to yourself when you rise up and say, I would keep moving. It's not just about the thing you will get. No, it's about what is happening within you. And I think that's one very crucial thing we can pay attention to. When fear comes, know that there's a way you can handle it.
There's a way out. All right. Thank you. So, if you're just joining us, this is still Metamorphosis with Toby. Kindly click the subscribe button, watch, like, share, ask questions, drop your comments. We would love to really hear from you. So we have Joyce here today talking to us or walking us through bouncing back from setbacks. So Joyce, what final piece of say advice, or what final piece do you have for listeners?
Okay, I think the final piece would just be, there is a future out there waiting for you to take a move. There's a future out there just waiting for you to make that move. You might have been at a place where you have experienced a setback, but there is much more ahead of you, and it's just waiting on you to make that move. It's just waiting on you to take a step. Do not allow setback just bring an end to your life or your dreams. There's something ahead. Well, you need to rise up, you need to get up, you need to be resilient, you need to be determined to move into that future that you desire and that you deserve. Your future will like you for it. Your generation will thank you for it.
All right. Thank you. So just like she said, there's a future out there waiting on you to make a move. Thank you so much for joining us, Joyce. Thank you for walking us through this. Thank you for lending your wealth of knowledge. Thank you so much. We cannot thank you enough on Metamorphosis with Toby and for always coming back. And so, as we always do, we have our quote. We live with a quote, and so today we have two. Interesting. It's a new year, so why not? So today we have two. The first is from a Chinese philosopher, and it says, "Our greatest glory is not in never failing, but in rising every time we fail." And that's like just emphasizing everything that we have said today. Again, our greatest glory is not in never failing, but in rising every time we fail. And so, because I love Maya Angelou, so I would give us one more from Maya Angelou, and it says, "I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it." I take that again. I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy.